Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have a lot of things to cover, but only 2 classes to go, so I have to pick and choose the important ones. I feel like a Indian hostess that invites people to a get-together at their home for dinner. You know what happens? This is very traditional. People are very happy with 2 or 3 things, but the hostess provides 17 things. 3 types of dal, 2 types of rice. She feels I have to really impress. And people that come there, they're very happy with a couple of things. That's all that they do. But so I feel the same way. I came prepared with so much material. I didn't want to be short of that, but how much can you absorb is what I have to really think about in that sense. So anyway, some neat stuff coming up on the understanding of Advaita. And I think that one of the things I think Zarina mentioned is that we need to figure out whether this is the right medium for us to do. Did you get enough? Did you like the fact that this is a face-to-face and is a retreat the right way to do it? 2 day or 1 day, we have to think about. In my view, what I'm just thinking is that we will maintain 2 things. I think I already mentioned that in the email. I'm thinking 2 retreats a year, one in Sailorsburg and one here. Sailorsburg has an important thing for several reasons. It's where Dakshinamurti is and all the pujas and food is so beautiful, already taken care of. But the most important thing is that you have 5 days to really cover a material, and it takes, it's very beautiful. But not many people can go. So here the issue is that in 2 days you have to, I was just talking to Amit about that. It's just maybe just limited to 1 or 2 topics and then go into a lot of depth. So all of that we'll have to see. But your feedback on how best to do it will be useful, and I think I will ask Raj to do a survey. He's nodding his head, so we will do a survey and then get your opinion. Is this the right place, etc., etc. Anyway. So let me, I didn't quite finish the summary of yesterday, which I started. I have a few points written down that I wanted to go over. So we went over the nature of fulfillment, and we also talked about the fact that a partial fulfillment requires karma and is sufficient for karma. So you do some things, you wanted to have a wonderful heaven-like experience, you can go to Hawaii for 1 week. So that is also partial fulfillment. And you are happy with it, but then it's over, and now then it feels even worse actually. This is the thing about these things. You go to Hawaii and you're happy, especially in winter time. You come back here and it's 45 degrees. Especially the East Coast is even worse. Even worse than that, you get a middle seat on the back of United. And you say, what happened? I was so happy for 1 week. So then all of this, or your United one gets diverted to Oakland because they had all kinds of problems. So the partial fulfillment is based on karma, but it has a limitation. Limitation is the limitation. That's the thing. But you know what? We just keep doing it. Okay, what do you expect me to do? What do you expect me to do? So, here we say, yes, something can be done. Are you ready for it? And there we get a fair amount of criticism, doubts. I was just talking to Atul. It's so nice to really meet all of you after a while and get your comments and your doubts and so on. So this is a very good part of it. And I'll bring that in for a minute, our discussion. So the question is, what do we ought me to do? You know what the Vedantic answer is? You cannot figure it out. So don't try to do it on your own. Why? Why can't I figure it out? And we all try. We read books and we're very fond of discovering. This happens all the time. I get emails. Have you listened to Swami such and such? Or have you read this kind book? It is phenomenal. So good, we all try to find different things. Vedanta says, this is all part of karma. Whatever you try to do. So to try to get total fulfillment is impossible within the realm of karma. Okay? Atul just brought in a quote from Ramana Maharshi. This is an important, a very important point because it is well discussed. I told him that as soon as he started reading it, I said, I know about it. We have been discussing it in our classes forever. And Swami Akhandananda completely confirms it and so on. So here's the situation. Going back to the assertion, you cannot figure it out on your own. The question is, why not? Why can't I figure it out? I can go to Ramana Maharshi. And you know what Ramana Maharshi says? This is important stuff. Keep on doing who am I inquiry and you will get to the answer. Do you know Swami Dayanand was a great fan of Ramana Maharshi? Great fan. He's gone to there many times. Swami Akhandananda is a great fan of Ramana Maharshi, but they don't agree with him. Ramana Maharshi is a very interesting person because he could figure it out from his past life. He has done so much work. J. Krishnamurti, I have a couple of students who always tell me, you must see J. Krishnamurti, even Swami Tattvavidananda ji. Absolutely not. J. Krishnamurti and also Ramana Maharshi and so on, they are not sampradaya with. They all feel you don't need any shastra, you can figure it out on your own. Sampradaya feels absolutely, Sampradaya means not me. Now I understand it very clearly, yes. But my all Acharya says absolutely not possible. Why? Because staying within this and trying to figure it out yourself is also part of karma. To say, who am I? And just sitting there and meditating, who am I? On your own. So what Ramana Maharshi says is that you don't need any shastra. Because, he could figure it out. Well, he could figure it out because he was an anomaly. He is a very one in billion people. And I don't know about J. Krishnamurti. I've had nothing but criticism from Swami Dayanand ji and Swami Akhandananda ji about J. Krishnamurti. He does not believe in Shastra. He says you can do it on your own. better yet, you follow me. That's another thing. That you just read my books and I will tell you. That is also a part of a Shastra that you're talking about. Anyway, I don't want to go into that. But all of this falls under karma. So this is an important thing to do. If you believe, and you have to believe, your starting point is that I am a limited person. So that one you don't touch. You don't touch. I'm a limited person. Now how can I become unlimited? This is the karma. It's not going to happen. Because all your interpretations, all of your thinking and so on is with respect to the fact that you are a limited person. Questions about the wave, saying, Molly's question about, how do I see the others also and so on and so forth. It is because your starting point, your basis is that of a limited person. That itself is false. But the question is, who is going to falsify that? No one within this realm can falsify it. Listening to the Shastra, say, what are you talking about? There is no such thing as a limited person. So you say, what? I am a limited person. No, you are not. I'm not. This is not trying to figure out who am I. This is to know why I'm not a limited person. Who am I? It tells you who you are. So therefore, the need for an external entity to help me is most important. You cannot do it on your own. Absolutely not. And the external person is Ishvara. Shastra is Ishvara's word. Shastra, Ishvara's word says, my dear, you are not my part, you are me. You and I are the same thing. We are both water. Can you not see that? Then you can say, no, I don't see that. Okay. Then to remove your ability to understand that, then you have to do something. That I agree with. That I agree with. Swami Akhandananda gets so many examples of how people, this is the thing I find about him, especially his book called Pavana Prasanga, which many of you have. I know Poonam Yadav has it, others have it. Such a beautiful, it's more than a biography, it's an autobiography of his life, all the people he met and so on. So he cites this one incident where, now he knows the Mahatmas who really understand the self. Viya Babaji, and a lot of other people, lots of people, all sitting there in some villages, not promoting themselves, and somebody comes in, he can tell them, but otherwise they don't talk. They are completely satisfied. So anyway, this incident, there's one sadhaka, very sincere person, who's been studying and really have a lifestyle, approached him. Swami Akhandananda was also sitting there. So he approached this Mahatma and said, Swamiji, teach me Atma Vidya. Please tell me what you are and how I can be like you. And do I need the help of Ishvara? So this Mahatma told him, first of all, you don't need Ishvara. You are the whole. So the person said, sir, I don't disrespect you, but I don't feel that. He says, if you don't feel that, then either you stay with me until I explain it to you, or ask for the help for Ishvara. So he said, Swamiji, I in my life I cannot just stay with you. I don't have that situation. So I have a life to lead. How do I take the help of Ishvara? What do I do? What prayers do I do? So he says, the only prayers you can do to Ishvara is to say, hey Ishvara, I am being stupid. I don't understand that you and I are the same. Can you help to improve my mind until I can understand? Sadhaka said, sir, thank you so much. I will do that. So this is the right thing. That means that karma to remove the obstacles of your mind is appropriate. And and I think that we are criticizing Ramana Maharshi for no reason perhaps, because he might have told someone that you are it. You are the free one. And if you don't understand that, keep on doing that inquiry. But Swami Dhananand used to say that, I'm just telling you this for a long time, that the promotion of who am I is wrong. Because he's now gone. Not people are going to go and listen to him in person, like many of the Mahatmas did. They don't do that. The books are being written, so people think, now I don't need any Shastra. All I have to do, as the book says, who am I, who am I, who am I? And I don't know much about J. Krishnamurti, but it is exactly the same thing. You don't need any Shastra or anything, you keep on doing who am I, who am I, who am I. I don't know what he does. This is wrong. Because the who am I inquiry should only be done by a person who has understood who I am, but not quite fully yet. Then karma is okay as an anga. But the angi, which is the main stem, is an external entity. And so this is where the Guru Kripa, the Shastra Kripa, the Ishvara Kripa all comes in, which says, what are you talking about? Yes, you are not a limited person. And if you think that there is something crazy about you, remove that craziness. Get the fact. But shouldn't I be doing puja to Ishvara? Do puja, but not for the fact to understand who you are, to remove your ability to think big. I will go into that session. I'm again borrowing it from some things that I was going to do later. There's a section that I have here on what are the obstacles to my understanding. There's so many obstacles. I'll talk about that, but this one thing that I will do. One of the obstacles is you're not thinking big enough. You're not ambitious enough, and you're not thinking big enough. It is just like a villager who has not really studied even basic mathematics or arithmetic. He has not even studied that. But he wants to trade things. He wants to sell some crops, he has to buy some apples, and he can do that all on the hands of his finger. Okay, I gave him five apples, and then I got back so much this, whatever he can just measure. So this is okay for a small farmer. But if you want to really grow, to figure out what to do, you have to study. Okay, this is how many debits, this is how the debits is credits, and what is the equation. So you have to really understand the mathematics of it. Otherwise, you're just being a trivial person. This is what has happened. We're very happy with I am a karta, I am a bhokta, I am a competitor, how do I do better in my life, and so on and so forth. This is all trivial stuff. You have to be introduced to the bigger stuff. The biggest stuff is you don't need to do anything. You're done. This I don't follow. No. So to understand that's an obstacle. Anyway, so that is one of the things. Okay, the next thing I wanted to do, this is also very important stuff. So we talked about the Veda Shastra as a pramana. Remember that? Pramana means what? Proof. This is very important stuff. The two parts to Veda Shastra we did yesterday is what? Shasanam and Shamsanam. Shasanam is for a doer. Shamsanam is for understanding. How does the understanding take place? This is why this is the Advaita Sampradaya is an important thing to see. It is to provide you with the proof now, not later. Most of our spiritual paths of people is to provide proof later. You keep on doing this, you keep on doing it. Like in Christianity, you believe in Christ and He'll take care of you. Same thing in Hinduism also, Vaishnavas. You believe in Vishnu and He will take care of you later, not right now. So you need to have faith in us. So this is how it is done. Advaita Vedanta is very different because it is a pramana. Pramana means what? A proof. How? For that, we need to get this one thing. This proof, it has three parts to it. One is called Shruti, the second one is called Yukti, and the third one is called Anubhava. So let me just spend some time on this. This is an important stuff. Three things, Shruti, Yukti and Anubhava. Shruti means an authoritative word. Somebody who knows what you're talking about. This is called Shruti. The Smriti is also like Bhagavad Gita, it's not a Shruti, it's a Smriti. But it's an accurate interpretation of Shruti. Accurate. No, absolutely no problems with that. Okay, so this is Shruti. Means that this is because it's the word of Ishvara, Aparushaya, as I said. This is Shruti. Then what the Shruti says must be reasonable to me. Shruti will never say that otherwise. But even if you suppose Shruti says, you know what? I think the reason you have an earache is because there is an elephant in there. If the Shruti says that the reason for all earaches is because you have to take out the elephant from it, will that be Yukti? No. It has to be reasonable. Most important is Anubhava. Anubhava is a very detailed word, I won't go into that, but it means, it has the prefix called Anu. Anu means follow. Follow. So Anubhava means your experience that follows the Shruti and Yukti. So it's not an independent thing. And in fact, I think I have it here somewhere, Sadhana Panchakam. So he says, Durtarkat Vimuchyate, or something like that, I forget what it is. Somewhere there, in Sadhana Panchakam, verse number 3. 31. What does it say? Dustarkat Shruti Mata Anusandhiyatam. So what it says is that independent thinking should be discarded. But what Shruti says, you have to use tarka to validate that. That is called yukti. What is dustarka? Independent. People say that all the time. This is so interesting. If God was there, I should be able to see him. And I don't see him, so he's not there. This is called dustarkat. If God is right there in front of you and you don't recognize it, what am I supposed to do? But no, I don't, because you just want to see through your eyes and your mind and so on and so forth. That's not what God is. It is you. So this tarkat says, forget about that. Don't even think about that or anything. But what the Shruti says should be understood as your own anubhava. How does it do that? Please listen to this very carefully. This is a very, very important stuff. The dream existence in your life every day. This is the anubhava of Shruti and Yukti. In fact, recognize the very clever scheme that Ishvara has made in your life. Clever! You think that deep sleep and dream and Jagrat Avastha is just kind of like, this is what scientific is saying. They're trying to figure out, where's the need for dream? We don't see the need for dream. So they'd analyze it. Maybe there is something. Freud was analyzing dreams. That if you're thinking like this, then you are this kind of a person. You're thinking like this. Hey, they're all random with a lot of... Anyway, we can talk later. If you're interested, this is what we're doing in Mandukya Upanishad Karika in our classes. You could listen to that. So I won't get into the details, obviously. The dream, the waking and the sleep is a very deliberate and very clever scheme by Ishvara to give you proof that you are unlimited. What do you mean? Listen to this carefully. The dream gives you proof. This is a pramana. This Swami Akhandanda's, he had, I don't remember which book he was talking about, probably in Mandukya Karika. He said, you know what? If I can make one recommendation to you, whatever discretionary time you have, this is what we were just talking about at lunchtime with Vikram, Parag, and a lot of other people, that you need to divide your life between what is necessary and what is discretionary. What is necessary is to take care of your body, your family, your friends, then you have some discretionary time. Sunday NFL. I'm very guilty of that. I remember this one time, even after I had started with Vedanta. So my boss and Hewlett Packard, so they all, it is such a funny story, I tell you anyway. I won't go into too much detail on that. So my boss, who was a senior, I also had a very senior position at Hewlett Packard, reporting to Bill, who was the sales manager for HP computers for all of US. And so then he had another boss who was an international boss. So you know what they all used to do? They would spend umpteen amount of times betting on NFL football. I mean, I was all, and then you know what? At first I thought these guys are crazy and very serious stuff. They have to do research and all of this, and this team is injured, and you know all of that. So for a while, I didn't have any parts of that. Then I felt that I'm politically hurting myself as not being part of that. Even though I didn't want to do that, I reluctantly, I'm telling you, I went and bought some magazines on how to analyze the NFL teams. So then I told Bill, I said, Bill, I think I'll join you. He was very happy. He was wonderful. I think I got maybe an extra promotion because of that. So it was so much wasted time. It is unbelievable. But this is all on company time. They will close the door and then they will all talk about this and so on and so forth. So I've gone through all of that and it's even worse. I don't know if you know this or not. This is such valuable stuff. Why am I telling you all this? Just to make a couple of points. I actually bought this, what is it called? NFL package from this, where you can see all the NFL games in different channels. I did that for about 6 months or so. Finally, I said, this is ridiculous, totally ridiculous. I just finally said, no way. I got sucked in because of being good with my boss, and I got into a bad habit. Finally, I got rid of it, and I do watch 49ers game once a week, and that also I was preparing notes for that, and I have it on silent so that I just look at it. And if they're losing, then I shut it off. I don't want to be, this reminds me, there was a guy who went to a Mahatma and said, sir, this ashram that you're running is running amok. And people are not following the decorum of this ashram, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. You need to talk to them. So he says, I've already talked to them. He says, so they're not listening. You know what you need to do? You have to get angry at them. You have to get angry at them. So the Mahatma said, sorry, I cannot do that. I don't want to spoil anger in my own mind just for the sake of somebody else. So similarly here on 49ers game, if they are all my kids all say, Dad, you're not a true fan. You should be looking to the whole thing. I said, no. I don't want to be unhappy by my team losing. So if they win, then I'll see the one, otherwise not. So the discretionary time, this is the discussion we had, should be spent in analyzing what is going on. The necessary time, you please give it to the family, to all that is necessary. But discretionary time, and this is also, and I might as well just do that now, I was going to do that, it's also based on the 4 ashramas, the 4 stages of your life. It is okay to do it while you are a grihastha ashrama. When you are about, according to the Vedic system, the grihastha ashrama is about from 25 to 50. It's very short, very short. So up to 50, you can do any funny stuff like watching football all the time, anything you want to do. Then comes vanaprastha, from 50 to 75. From 50 to 75, continue the necessary things, reduce the discretionary things. Don't watch football as much, don't go to Iceland, Machu Picchu, and all these places, because this is all discretionary. Wouldn't it be nice? I have so many friends who say, I haven't seen Africa yet. I've got to do that. Okay, go. That was okay if you are part of the family and so on and so forth up to Grihastha Ashrama. But in Vanaprastha, in sannyasa, forget it. Let's say after retirement, you should really start to contemplate. And the contemplation alone will give you moksha. So going back to dream, now the example, I've not forgotten that. Swami Akhandananda says, please, can I give you one recommendation? If you have discretionary time, study the reality of and non-reality of dream. Any discretionary time that you have, study, become an expert in the dream. Why do you have to become an expert in dream? Because it will solve all of your problems. How is it going to solve all of my problems? It does a phenomenal thing. Most important invention of Ishvara, I'm telling you. And that is, what looks real is not real. This is the proof. This is what is called Shruti, Yukti and Anubhava. So the Yukti is, Shruti means, as we are just now studying the seventh mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad, Nantah pragyam na bahish pragyam na ubhata pragyam. We are studying all that. Right now we're just starting that. So the Shruti says, you are Turiya, you are not of any one of those. This is what the Shruti says. Then the Yukti. Yukti says, listen, what appears to be true doesn't necessarily have to be true. This is the Yukti. There is a difference between appearance and reality. Do you know that? No, I don't know that. Okay, then study the dream. This is what Ishvara says. And it gives you, you cannot say, okay, maybe I missed it because, I used to dream when I was a boy. Now I don't dream anymore. No. You need to do this all your life. And there is a dream given you every night. If you missed it, said, I didn't do that this morning. Okay, do that tomorrow night. Most important thing. And what it means is that what appears to be true, ultimately, if it is not reality, will disappear. Just the other day, 3 or 4 days ago, I just woke up from, very lucky, I tell you, whenever I'm waking up from a dream that I got interrupted on, I really feel so good. Just the other day I had a dream, funny dream I had, that I was sitting in a bus and there was an older person who wanted a seat and we were mixing. I don't want to go into that. I woke up and I said, oh my God. Just 2 minutes ago, I was in a completely different world. This was not reality. And now I wake up and this is a reality. Shruti says, my dear, your life is not, the way you look at things is not real. It is all an appearance. There's no. And if you follow these, the teaching, because how do you wake up from a dream? And you wake up from a dream either from an alarm clock or somebody wakes you up, or you wake up by yourself. But you wake up. So you're finished with it. How do you wake up from the waking state? You can wake up from the waking state while you are still alive. You cannot wake up from the waking state after your death. You cannot wake up from the waking state if you are sleeping. You can only wake up from the dream when you are awake, and you can only wake up from waking state when it is clear to you that it is a dream. This is the Anubhava. This is the Anubhava. This is the proof, this is the pramana. This is how the external So just like saying, who am I doesn't work. It has not worked for anybody. It doesn't work for anybody. It is just a promotion. It is only meant for people who had directly seen that with the help of Sri Ramana Maharshi, not for others. You'll never be proved. You can keep on doing it, who am I? But you'll say, I'm Swamiji. Swami Dayanand used, sometimes he would use language, it was so interesting. I'm telling you, I even remember when he said this, under what circumstance, about Ramana Maharshi, because Atul brought it up, so he said, Swamiji Dayanand used to say, you keep on doing, who am I? And there is an answer. I'm an idiot. So we used to say that, Swamiji, don't say that. This is the truth. Because you are starting with the fact that I'm a limited person. You cannot become any limited person. You are a limited person or you're not. And if you are a limited person, you have to inquire, how is it that I am not a limited person? And that comes from an upadesha, an adesha, not self-generated karma, not possible. Okay. All right, let's see. I think I want to jump from. This is important stuff. So this leads to the discussion about Advaita. So, all right. So there are some very classic examples in Vedanta that are important for us to understand. So one of the classic examples in understanding myself, classic examples of self-understanding, self-knowledge, is the rope snake example. And you know what that is. That means that it is possible that under certain circumstances you may make a mistake for a harmless rope to be a live snake, which is harmful, potentially harmful. And for those of us that have come from India, we've all had a lot of experiences with snakes, and we can relate to the fear and uncertainty about snakes. So that's the example. That you have a rope that because of inadequate light and some circumstance was taken up to be a snake. This is the classic example. So in this classical example, there are three kinds of what is called your thoughts, your perception. So in Sanskrit, this is called bhasamanatvam. Bhasamanatvam. And I think it is given in one of them here, truth and its perception. Bhasamanatvam. Or you can just use the word perception, which is good enough. It's a good word. The three are...
Are you talking about one of the points here?
Yeah, in the... Yeah.
Page
7.
Page 7.
Yeah, I think that that was an idea on my part to give you something written down, but because I'm going back and forth, it may not be as easy. So in retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have even done that and just done that anyway. So there are three ways of looking at truth. This you can say it look this way. 3 ways of looking at truth. And for those of you that have been studying Vedanta, you know this by now. One is called Pratibhasika Sat, or you can say subjective reality. One is called Vyavaharika Sat, or you can say objective reality. And the third one is Paramarthika Sat, which is called absolute reality. So there are 3 ways to look at it. So now just look at this way. And so this one is a step towards understanding Advaita. Only one step. There's a few more steps coming. In understanding that there is a mistake, that the rope was taken to be a snake, and the perception of snakiness there is what? It is subjective reality. Others don't see it, another person, but you saw it. So it is personal to you. This is what is called Pratibhasika Sat. The second one is that once it is pointed out that this is a rope, then you also see it as a rope, others also see it as a rope, and the reality is that it's a rope. Let's say it's a rope. This is called Vyavaharika Sat, or objective reality. There is one more to go, which is absolute reality. What is that and where is that? This is what we have to see. So I'm shortening it because I was going to go through a lot of reasoning for it, but in next time I'm going to just make everything fit into the next hour and a half, 2 hours. Where is the absolute reality? So, in order to introduce absolute reality, let me state another thing, which is, you believe it or not, initially it is very hard to believe. But do not pick a fight with Shastra. You will lose. Don't bet against it. It is talking of the truth. It can give you the evidence of the truth. You may fight it for a while, but only at your own peril. So, what is absolute reality? So if you say, the rope is the reality, it is not. Why not? Shastra says, can I tell you something very interesting, very important, very real? The whole world, the entire life, the entire spectrum of our experiences, for everyone, at any time, in the past, 5,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, now, in the future, is all in thoughts. We talk about, there are 3 kinds of sharira. This is what all, we study this. There is a sthula sharira, and there is a sukshma sharira, and there is a karana sharira. Sthula sharira means gross body, and then sukshma sharira means subtle body, karana sharira means causal body. So everybody has 3 kinds of bodies. This is all how it is introduced. This is kind of like, it's kindergarten stuff. Because it's very interesting. This is another Shastra says many times things that it withdraws. And this is what is called advanced Vedanta. You know, it's just like Swami Akhandananda had given this example. He says, he teaches mathematics to a young kid. You know, we have a 3-year-old, and so we can do that with her. I think we're going to try it tonight. She's going to visit us in the evening. Okay, Sanya. Okay. Suppose you had 3 apples. Okay. Now, I don't know if she can visualize 3 apples, but so she may have to have 3 of them sitting there in front. Okay. Now, give 2 apples to your younger brother. So she's not happy about it, but she's okay, I take it. Then give the 3rd one to me. How many are left? I mean, she doesn't understand the concept of 0, but she can at least visualize it. Maybe not at 3, maybe 4 or 5 or something. So this is how it is done. Shastra does the same way. Pretend you have 3 kinds of bodies. You know, and there's I think Swami Akhandananda gives this example, that supposing you tell somebody, okay, visualize that you have 3 apples. Okay, got it? Okay, supposing you gave 2 apples to somebody, and then you gave the 3rd apple to somebody else. How many are left? He says, I don't know, but why are we going through that? We had 0 to begin with, you're back 0 again. So why do we have to go through this 3, 5, 2, 3 and all that? Shastra says, have patience. I will have something to teach you. So initially it says, you have 3 kinds of bodies. You have Sthula Sharira, you have Sukshma Sharira, and Karana Sharira. In the end he says, can I tell you something? There is no such thing as Sthula Sharira. There is only Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira. In fact, eventually even there is no Sukshma Sharira. And eventually there is no Karana Sharira. It's only you. It's just like having 3 in the beginning, then you take away 1 and so on and so forth. So now, it gives a very important thing. He says, the entire cosmos is in the form of thoughts only. So this begs a very interesting question. Are the thoughts contained in my body? Or is the body contained in my thoughts? This is, if I give you a task to do, okay, write down your name and say, okay, which side are you on? I don't know what you will say. You will probably say, I think he's giving me a trick, so I'll say the body is contained in the thoughts. But we all think body is the real stuff, and the thoughts are all contained in it here. It's the wrong answer. The wrong answer. The answer is, you have a body thought. And you have different body thoughts. That thought, this thought, she thoughts, he thought. This thought is nothing but thought. Do you have any doubts about it? Go reflect on your dream. It was such a funny dream that I had. You were going in this bus, and this guy was arguing. He was a real person. He was a real person. He was saying, no, that's not the place for them to sit. This should be done. They should move it here and so on. I'm just looking at them and saying, I don't know. I hope I don't have to give up my seat. I was going through all that. And even I had an idea of who I am. I'm sitting in a bus. The whole thing is nothing but thoughts. Where are all the thoughts? thoughts. Where is it located? We've already said that the body is not a real body, it's a body thought. Now the question is, where is the thought located? So now we go back to answer. Now that I've given you this background, we can go back to answer this question about Paramarthika Sat. When you see a rope, you've dispensed with Pratibhasika Sat. That's gone. It's not a snake anymore. Now you're on to rope, but you hang on to the rope. You know what it is? That is not Parimarthika Sat. It is Pratibhasika Sat. It is Vyavaharika Sat. The Vyavaharika. You know where the snake is located? In your mind. The rope is equally situated in your mind. And the location of your snake thought and your rope thought is in your Antakarana. And the Antakarana has an Adhisthana, which is your Atma, which is you. That is the Paramarthika Sat. This is you are the Paramarthika Sat. You are all three of them. You are also the so you see, this is the thing. One can say reasonably that the snake has now dissolved into the rope. So the rope is the Adhisthana. Adhisthana means the basis. Where something is located is called Adhisthana. So you can say that the rope is the Adhisthana for snake. That's reasonable. See what the vision of the snake is gone. Where is it gone? Into the rope. That is only temporary, because that also resolves into you. Actually, everything resolves into you. Waking state also resolves into you. Dream state also resolves into you. Sleep state also dissolves into you. Sleep is also a state. It dissolves into you. And you remain the same. There is no difference in you at all. But you are so taken up by these various things that at that time you don't think about yourself, First of all, you don't know the Paramarthika Sat. Somebody has to tell you that. This is where Shruti Yukti is. Even if you knew that, you have a problem in at least understanding that. That's understandable. But this is all where it resolves to. The whole cosmos is actually you. So I think what I'll do is spend some time in meditation. 3 o'clock. Perhaps I should go on. You're all awake? Are you awake? Is it okay? We can continue? Okay. So let me give you a couple of more concepts for maybe 10 more minutes, and then we will do a 20-minute meditation. And then we will take a break. Is that okay? All right, so Pratibhasika Sat, Paramarthika Sat, done. This is important stuff. Okay. Let me see exactly. I know what I want to talk about, but let us see. I don't know where it is. I'll just say it. Okay. So what happens is that so we saw the rope and snake example, that we saw, okay? So there's a particular technical word for that which I'm missing, and I didn't have time to really write it down, but we will do that. It doesn't matter. Look at the concept. The rope snake example shows the following. If your error of seeing the rope to be a snake is resolved, however somebody shows a flashlight and say, no, this is not a snake, this is just a rope. And you say, okay, I accept that. There are cases where there's a real life cases where, sometimes you have these twisted iron things that they use for construction, and they have a little bend to it, and the ends are very sharp, okay? So if somebody brushes their leg and gets some blood from this has actually happened, this is real life, some blood from the edges of this iron rod, they can die from fear. Die from fear. They think this is a snake bite and their heart starts raised. They can die. This has been documented. When in fact there was no reason for it. Anyway, if you take the understanding that this is a rope, not a snake, you know what happened to the snake? It disappears forever. Even if you try to visualize, oh, how did I see this? Let me see if it is a snake. You can't do it. It won't do that. There is another important example. And I don't know why Swami Dayanandaji never really talked about this. Maybe he did and I wasn't listening to him or something. Made clear by Swami Akhandananda. He says, look at the blueness of the space. Examine the blueness of Akashasya Neelatvam. Look at the blueness of beautiful example. That made such a difference to me, honestly. He says, suppose you take our 3-year-old Sanya and say, Sanya, what is the sky? What is the color of the sky? She'll say, it's blue. Really? It's the color of the sky is blue? Yeah. The blue is the color. When you become an adult, you don't even have to become an adult, maybe like 7 or 8 or something like this. You realize the blueness is not a property of the space. Right now there is no blueness. Where is the blueness? This is another very beautiful thing that Swami Dayanandaji had talked about. He says, Ishvara had made some interesting decisions, design decisions. Like, have these interior designers. They make some decisions. Okay, these drapes are going to be this color. This wall is going to be this color. They have to make some decisions. Ishvara has made a decision. One of the decisions is, funny decision, I don't know how he came up with it. Anything that looks infinite is blue. This is, if you want to see where is Ishvara, see his handiwork. You look at the ocean, I don't know how that is, it's so blue. Not too many things but they're all blue. So when you have a 7-year-old, they know that space is not blue. Blueness, so you ask them, so then where is the blueness? They'll say, I don't know. I don't know. And even adults, you ask them, where did the blueness come? Swami Vivekananda has said that. He says, can you distill the blueness and wash your clothes in it? Can you weigh it? This is the nature of ignorance. Anirvachaniya. You don't know. It happens, but you don't know what the weight is, what the color is, where is it located. You can't tell. So the blueness of it is a very important example. Let me go on with it. So the blueness of the space is like the rope snake example with a big difference. Very important to understand the difference. The blueness of the space is in such a manner that the space is understood to be not even close to the blueness. But it is still there. No one mistakes the space to be blue. No one, not possible. But it appears to be blue. So in that sense, even after you extract the reality of the space from the blueness of itself, like a rope from a snake from a rope, the blueness can stay where it is, but it does not cause any problems to you. See, this is a very important thing to see. The presence of blueness. So here's what it is. There is an appearance and a reality. The reality of space is that it is totally transparent. That does not take any color. There can be color in it or no color in it. You can see it from this one way. Swami Vivekananda gives this, he says, if you look at a rainbow, this is another very beautiful example. You can look at a rainbow and you can take pictures. I've done that from our window. We've had a couple of double rainbows. And I've taken a picture of it. It's there in my archives. It's not there. Taking a picture of something which is not there. Like it, this is what the children, they used to run towards the rainbow to touch it. It's not there. This is a beautiful example of an appearance without reality. But you know what the interesting thing is? Important thing, not just interesting. That the remaining of the blueness doesn't violate your sense of reality. Just gave me an idea. Let's just do a meditation on this. I was going to do something else. But let me see if I can combine it. I had a list of about 8 or 9 of meditations, but there's only time for 2. So let me see. Okay, I think I can combine a couple of them. So let's do a meditation. Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Triambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikalagnikalaya Kalagnirudraya Neelakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Srinam Mahadevaya Namaha. I meditate on the nature of Satyam or Sat. I see that I have the ability to see Sat in three levels. There is a level of subjective Sat called Pratibhasika Sat. The subjective reality is personal to me, not shared by anyone else. It could even be a view of someone else. It could even be a view of myself, which is highly subjective. An inferiority complex is a form of a view of myself, which others cannot see, do not share. And then I have the ability to see objective Sat, objective truth. Where any sane person sees it exactly as I do. There is no subjectivity to it. That today is the 13th of October is an objective reality. The dissolution of subjective reality into objective reality is one of two kinds. One where any mistakes about the subjectivity, once removed, it is gone. This is the case of seeing a rope mistakenly as a snake. Once that mistake is removed, I am able to see it as others see it. This is one form of dissolving or the dissolution of subjective sat, pratibhasika sat, into vyavaharika sat or objective reality. I also see this phenomena in another form. In this, the vision of subjectivity has been corrected, but may not disappear. Even if it stays there in my perception, I don't have the same view as before. The example of this is the blue space. The blueness of the space, even after an understanding, is not the reality of the space, but some kind of a phenomena associated with infinity. That blueness can stay right where it is without my making the mistake that the space is blue. This is what is important in the understanding of myself. There is a word for the second kind of dissolution of subjectivity into objectivity, called Badhita Sat. Badhita Sat means for all purposes of reality, it has already been negated. The fact that it remains as an appearance doesn't matter. This is important for self-knowledge. What the Shastra has explained very clearly to me, that I am the only place which is Sat Swarupa. I am the Sat Swarupa. In the entire cosmos, the entire creation, the entire Jagat, there is nothing that can be Sat except me. I cannot experience Asat, never. I can never disprove the Sat that I am. I am the only one that does not require a proof, a pramana, that I am is incontrovertible. There is nothing in the world which is like that. I am the only aparoksha Sat. This is something like an understanding by an adult that the space is endless and colorless. It cannot be colored. The air and fire and water and earth, solid materials, they may have some color, but not the space. Space is colorless. And yet, if there is an appearance of color on the space, let it be. I know for sure that the space has not become blue. It is not possible. Very true for myself too. I am Sat Swarupaha. But what about the world that I see that makes me look small? The world, once it is understood like an adult, is Badhita Sat, like the blueness of sky, blueness of space. Let it be. It may not be like the snake on the rope, where once understood it disappears. But it is like the blueness of the space. The world cannot displace my Sat. My Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam is independent. And if there is an appearance of limitedness, of smallness, let it be. It has no reality, Sat, no reality. You cannot affect the independent Atma, like no color can affect the independent Akasha, the space. Akasha is Nirgunaha, Niravayavaha, Nirvikaraha. It has no qualities, has no parts to it. It has no change to it. This is the Atma. This is Paramarthika Sat. Natu Pratibhasika Sat. Natu Vyavaharika Sat. Om Tat Sat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, let's take a break. Perhaps we should regroup, say 5 minutes to 3. So you have 25 minutes to have a little bit shorter than usual, but it'll give us a little bit more time for finishing the study. And 5 minutes to 4 o'clock, sorry. 5 minutes to 4 o'clock.